Hello everyone, I'm back. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the worst autism Discord servers ever. It's called the Autism Zone. There are so many very strange characters in it. So I'll show y'all about the server, about some of the people there, and you tell me what you think. Without further ado, let's get on in it. Okay, here. The first part, which is part of why so many people are like, we're too populated. Humans aren't destroying the earth. Capitalism and colonization is. How come indigenous people maintain the environment for literally thousands of years and protect over 80% of the world's biodiversity and stuff only started hitting the fan when white people decided to leave our home country? Okay, so this person's here name is Acid, and they are blaming white people. On IQAir.com, the first most polluted country is Bangladesh, followed by Pakistan and India. The top 10 in the top 25, the first white country on this list is number 27, Bosnia-Herzegovina. Number 93, Canada. That's right, we're in 93rd. Now this one here is also pretty racist as well. Realize that productivity is a white people thing. That's not true. That's actually pretty racist. Not just white people are productive. Like, I'm not very productive at all, and I'm white. There's a lot of productive people who aren't white. Now here's something. Self-diagnosis. The internet is not a doctor. TikTok is not a doctor. Twitter is not a doctor. Now X. Reddit is not a doctor. Seek professional help. Stop making people who actually have autism, TS, I'm not sure what TS is, and other neurological conditions look bad. We've had it hard enough. That's facts. Okay, yeah, I agree with that one. Now here's another one. Someone confessed something like they say self-diagnosis is invalid, and now Angel of Music here wants to say, I hope that confessor suddenly loses their fingers and hands. I don't care who you are, I hope you get a nail in your eye. Okay, first, relax. Second, ridiculously ignorant and disgusting. How's not supporting self-diagnosis disgusting? You could be wrong, after all. I'm 16 and very much known, of course. I've been self-diagnosed for nearly 4 years now because I have unsupportive parents. This part's understandable, but to be honest, for some of these people who say they're self-diagnosed, I would really, if I had the money, I would really like to pay literal money to see whether these people are or not. I also may have ADHD. You know, both are stereotypically resembled by little cishet white boys/men who love trains. Nonverbal. I don't know about that. Genius and other stereotypes, yet here you are being a censored. Not going to put that word in because it's bad. Majority of us will struggle to get a professional diagnosis, and some of us don't want one for reasons. Like, I wonder what kind of reasons. Like, okay, I'm actually curious about that. Ignorance is the reason we're not listened to, not because of self-diagnosis. This also happens with chronic illnesses, by the way. So congrats, you. Uh-oh. You're a major, censored, and a stupid, censored again. Confirmation bias. Yes. So, a little while ago, I was doing some research about why self-diagnosis isn't valid, and I come across something that said confirmation bias. I don't remember where I found this. It's the tendency of people to favor information that confirms or strengthens their beliefs or values and is different to dislodge once affirmed. Like self-diagnosis. It's confirmation bias, basically. One reason is that professionals such as psychologists have specific training and tools that help them to make accurate diagnosis. Now, somebody doesn't have the money to be actually diagnosed. Okay, I understand that. Self-diagnosis is not the answer. Instead, it's more honest to say ADHD or autism is pending diagnosis. Okay, that's actually true. Yeah, I get that, yeah. I'd rather someone say they're pending diagnosis to me than self-diagnosed, because I'd be like, what evidence do you have? When self-diagnosis is incorrect, proper care and treatment can be delayed, and that can lead to some very serious consequences. Hear what I'm saying about confirmation bias. A type of confirmation bias can oftentimes exacerbate this delay in care. And now, for those of you who don't know, exacerbate means to make something worse. It can be a wild self-reinforcing roller coaster of health anxiety with confirmation bias, only to find out you slept with the wrong pillow and you're experiencing the pains and aches of life. Okay, so my biggest problem with self-diagnosis is if someone's self-diagnosis, first of all, they could be wrong. It's possible they could be wrong. Second of all, if a self-diagnosed autistic person becomes a voice in our community and they start saying things we don't agree with, that's what I really don't like. They're not autistic, so why are they speaking for us? They shouldn't. Yes, about 40 to 50% of the people in here are self-diagnosed and receiving support for each other. Like about 50% of the people. So last time I checked, the server had about 800 members. That's about 400 members that are self-diagnosed. Let's give or take. So with a 25 or about 23% chance that they're wrong, say that's about average 92 people. So Those people are not autistic. And also, the Autism Zone, it's an autism-only server. So when it's proven that they're actually not autistic, they're not part of the spectrum, then that's why they should leave the server. Self-diagnosis is unbelievable. Well, if you are self-diagnosed, then yes, but if you're not, well, then you can tell them you're officially diagnosed. I know you're asking Ziali, but self-diagnosis is absolutely valid. Nuh-uh. If you know you relate to autistic content, done research on it, and it makes sense, you have every right to say you're autistic. You know yourself best. There's the confirmation bias again, and there's so many barriers that get in the way of people receiving professional diagnoses. Yeah, but it's still confirmation bias after all. It's a very powerful thing. Now, here's something a little bit off the wall. Here's something a little bit different. Every time a cop came in my Starbucks store, I would give them decaf because it was the only way I could mess with their order without, like, potentially getting fired for poisoning them, e.g. using dairy instead of non-dairy as requested. Well, sometimes some people are lactose intolerant. Also, these are police officers out there protecting and serving the community, doing shift work. Like, sometimes they even have to become nocturnal because their shift starts at 6:30 p.m. and it runs until the late night. They have to become nocturnal. Not giving them decaf, that's risky. Because what if there's a crime that the officers need to immediately respond to and one cop is asleep? That's one less man or woman that they've got for backup. That could potentially have very big consequences. To let you know, we are anti-autism speaks. Okay, I agree with that. I could do a whole video exposing autism speaks. It would probably like 10 minutes. All the stupid things they've done back in the day. Rottenberg Center, the commercials they made, all kinds of these things. Only 1% of Autism Speaks budget goes towards the family service grants that are the organization's means of funding services. That's right, they spend 20 times as much on fundraising. They use their platform and advertising budget to portray us as mysterious and frightening. It's the absolute end of what I want to talk about the server. We've only scratched the surface. I could go way more deep and show a bunch of other really screwed up things these people have said, but I don't have that many screenshots. So yeah, that's kind of it. Please subscribe. See y'all next week when I will do another practicing for hockey video. I'm actually going to be developing a horse app.